What's up, bosses? Welcome to About Her Business, the podcast where we leave all the gossip at the door and get straight down to business. I'm your host, Jonte, and today we have the host of the Mamapreneur Podcast, Miss Robbin herself. Now, Miss Kelton is not new to this podcast game. With over 100 episodes in, she offers a platform to mamas and women entrepreneurs like myself the opportunity to come on and share their brands on a global aspect. She's also the founder of Team Robbin Divas Cancer Foundation, where she provides resources and care packages to current women who are undergoing cancer treatment. And she's here today to take the mic on what she means business. So, ladies, grab your cups and your notepads and let's get down to it. The meeting is now in session. Welcome, Miss Kelton.
Hello, hello, hello. Thank you so much for having me. Or in this case, grab your water if you can see it.
We definitely need to keep ourselves hydrated, ladies. So, are you ready to get into it, Miss Kelton?
And I'm ready.
Now, audience, I will let y'all know that having Miss Kelton here with me today, who has been a mentor in my head for a minute now, it is an honor to have
Oh,
her on today. So I'm super excited about today's podcast. Let's start off with talking about the accomplishment of you having 100 episodes. That is something that is not easy to do, especially for new podcasters out there. Can you talk a little bit about what really inspired you to create a platform for women and moms?
oh gosh. So when people ask this question, I always chuckle because it happened at a time where I least expected it. So when the opportunity presented itself next month, well, hey, technically 5 years ago this month, the opportunity of starting my own podcast came about. And I laughed because I was like, me? What am I gonna say? Who am I gonna speak to? What are we gonna talk about? Then good Lord woke me up in the morning 3 days later after telling who is now my producer, hey, let me pray on that. I'll get back to you. 3:30 in the morning, a few days later, God woke me up out of my sleep. Didn't know what he was waking me up out of my sleep for. I don't know what is up between the hours of 3 a.m. and 4 a.m. But God got away. All the ideas of my business have come at that hour. Why? We don't know. So, of course, this is no different. Came up with the name, who I'd serve, the why behind it. Of course, it's the pandemic. A lot of women-owned businesses were formed within that time frame. Why not put it to a platform for these women to get global exposure? You don't necessarily have to now. You can work with anybody, anywhere. Today's interview is a great example. I'm in one state, Jonte's in another. And so being able to do that 104 times has been amazing to do and see.
And Miss Kelton, you are a warrior in this podcast game. What has podcasting taught you about women in business that you didn't see at the beginning?
Ooh, consistency. How consistent you have to be just in podcasting, because I like to let people know from the door. I just did a post yesterday on this. Podcasting is a business. So being consistent in that regard, being consistent as a business owner, period. No one's going to know about you if you don't kind of put yourself out there and talk about whatever it is that you do. That goes for me too, as the host of the podcast, let alone me getting businesses out there. I have to be consistent, as well as I'm telling those ladies that they need to be consistent in what they're doing as well.
I agree. And for me, like I started a podcast a year ago with my sisters entitled Healing Through Chaos. And you hit on the main point, consistency, because the first couple of episodes we were getting all these views and now I'm starting a new season and it's like, am I gonna be able to get those views again because of the inconsistency and the break in between it? So thank you for sharing that point with our audience to remain consistent in your businesses. Now you do spotlight women across the world, which is amazing, by the way. What patterns do you notice about the ones who truly build sustainable brands?
Mm. They know who they're talking to, positioning themselves as the experts in whatever it is that they do. And lastly, something I always talk about in my community, being in the room. Are you in the room? You watching from the crib. What is it? So making sure that you're in the room. Being in the room is the reason why I have this show.
Oh,
Being in the room.
I love it. And again, you've done anywhere from like lunch invites, morning services. I mean, you've created like different series on your podcast. Can you
Uh-huh.
talk a little bit about those different series and where they are?
Okay, so of course we have the show that's live every second and fourth Thursday night, 8 o'clock Central Standard Time. And then I do what I call the Mamapreneur Podcast Lunchtime Live. So I either do it on IG or I do it on LinkedIn. Depends on where the person has the most audience. Kind of, wherever they feel comfortable. I'll do it there. And it's just the same kind of spotlight like I would do for the show, but we just doing it in the daytime. And we're just having a casual conversation, just like Jonte and I are having right now. But we live during the afternoon. You get to have lunch with us.
Oh, I love that. And I watched a couple of episodes, you guys, and I love the fact that you mentioned whatever platform they're most comfortable with, because often those bigger platforms is important, especially as hosts, to identify with our audience and our guests and making sure they stay comfortable throughout the process. So thank you again for mentioning that with our audience.
Absolutely.
Can you talk about what meaningful visibility would look like for a woman entrepreneur? Because you do provide a global exposure for people.
Visibility is key in anything that you do business wise because there's a lot of people that do what you do. But how will they know what you do if you don't put yourself out there to be, again, shown as that expert in what you're doing? Say, for instance, you make cookies, child. You just say, hey, I make cookies on this side of the Mississippi, and they are the best thing smoking. Well, there's Tips Treats and all these other places that makes cookies. How are you going to showcase that that's what, you're the expert at that. You're the best at that. What are you going to do to stand out? And especially for my folks that don't like social media, or putting your face on camera to be the face of the brand. Well, you're the face of the brand, so you got to showcase that, you're the face. Even if it's cookies, we're in the age of show me. So content, what does your content look like? If you're not contenting today, I advise you to get started. If people now, they go back and do their research. Jonte did her research on me today before me being on the show to see that I am credible. People don't believe, the first thing about you and your brand. They're going to go back and look you up. Okay, are you credible? So visibility equals credibility.
You'd hit on a lot of key aspects, especially on that getting yourself out there, especially into community. And you've created several different avenues of community connection and collaboration. So, can you explain to our audience how you've ensured those rooms that you created, those connections and community, move the needle and just aren't pretty photo ops?
Ah, hey man. Yeah. We're gonna take pictures. We're gonna record, we're gonna have all the content in the world. But we're gonna make sure some things are moving the needle in the process. So from my show, the show opened the door to me starting a Facebook group, which is called the Mamapreneur Tribe. Women from all over the world do different things. Some are entrepreneurs, some are aspiring entrepreneurs. Then I decided, hey, we're gonna start doing monthly meetups because me being in the room again got me my podcast. So if being in the room can give me a podcast, what can being in the room provide for someone else? What kind of opportunities? I always say you never know, your next client, collaborator, investor may be in the room. And so being able to provide a space, keeping my spaces intimate, keeping my spaces where people are being intentional about being in the room, and an authentic community. A lot of times there's a lot of clicks. My stuff is not clickish. I go to everybody's stuff and I expect everybody to come to my stuff too, to see the difference. And hey, I make it where everybody knows everybody in the room before they leave. No one can ever say they went to a mamapreneur and they didn't know not one single person. They didn't leave not knowing one single person in the room. They be lying.
Oh, I love that. And again, thank you for creating these environments because as a person myself who has tried to join several different sisterhoods and organizations in my area, you're often met with rejection or cliques,
Mhm.
as you said. So
Yeah.
thank you for mentioning that because I too am not a fan of cliques. I'm a fan of bringing women together for a true purpose. You never know where your next connection may be.
Yeah.
So let's talk about your motto for a second. Your motto is the connection happens when you're in the room. In the digital world, why does physical presence still matter so much?
I get to touch you. I get to give you a hug. I get to shake your hand. I get to, hey, tell me more. And there's ways to connect virtually networking. There's a lot of spaces for that. And that's great. But it's something about being in the room, the intentional space of it all, having conversation. I get to look you in the eye in person. So, like, I get to, so say, for instance, if John Tay and I were in person, I'd be sitting right next to her, asking all the questions and how I could be of service. So, it's something, it's a different vibe.
I do feel like there's a more intimate connection when you're in the room, being able to see those emotions or those first reactions versus waiting for a response. So, for the women who may feel intimidated walking into high spaces, what mind shift like for me, for example, would you offer them?
You got the secret sauce. No one can do it better than you can. Knowing that what you can bring to the table, I don't care if you in a room full of millionaires. You walk in that bad boy like you got the $1,000,000. Why? Because you know what you are great at, what you excel at, what you can bring to the table. So don't let being in the room, and I've been in rooms with millionaires that, and I'm not quite as up to where they are. But guess what? I know what I bring to the table. I know how confident I am in my brand. That didn't always start off that way. That took time. But just knowing who you are and your worth and your value as a person, as a business owner. Doesn't matter if you got $2 in your pocket or 2 million in your pocket.
Oh, I love that. That confidence. You got to have it, especially as an entrepreneur, because, you know, everybody thinks that if you sell a product, it's going to make $1 million the first day.
Right.
That not be the case. Some people may not. So you have to literally build that confidence to keep going, whether if you're selling or if you're not selling, if you got support or if you don't have support, you have to learn how to literally just believe in yourself. Now, you're a podcaster and you're a community builder as well. So let's talk about how you balance visibility with authentic.
Girl, first off, I can't fake nothing. What you see is what you get. And being visible and showcasing you, people buy into that a lot more than you putting on a facade, being something that you're not. I don't care if you sell shoes, you're a business coach. People want to see who you are. Who is John Tay? I'm just putting you out there, girl, because I'm looking at you. What is John Tay really like? What is John Tay's why? People want to know, like, and trust you, so they can spend any dollar with you. So long as you putting that out there, the people will come.
You hit on that major point of just being your real true self. I can't tell you how many times I had to tell myself, hey, it's okay to stutter. It's okay to mess up. It's okay to
Time.
because, we think we have to be so perfect, especially when we starting businesses. We got to take the perfect photo. We got to have the perfect outfit. We got to have our hair this type of way. And I went through all of that in me starting my business. So those same things that we as women entrepreneurs just go through as women. So let's talk about Team Robbins Diva Cancer Foundation. What originally stirred your heart to step into this type of work?
Well, of course, as you know, it comes from a very personal journey. February 13th, 2017, I was diagnosed with stage 2 Hodgkin's lymphoma, which is a blood cancer, a rare form of blood cancer. For the person who never got sick, to hear those words that you have that. And so 5 months of chemo, month of radiation, while in chemo, groups would come in and sit with us. Can't do it so much today because COVID changed a lot. But used to be able to, people would come in and give us like blankets and care packages and sit with us. And some would ask if they could pray with you. They bring quilts and some stuff I still use today. Jesus Calling. That was my first time seeing the Jesus Calling books back then, which helped get me through a lot. Now, in my time, I had people with me every other Wednesday for 5 months, with the exception of one session. I would see some people that we were on the same schedule, and no one sat with him. No one, that person was always felt like they were alone. But when the people would come in, the different groups, etc., would see that person smile for the first time. You'd be surprised how excited people get over a blanket because the rooms are cold. Those treatment centers are cold. Now I'm hot natured. That didn't apply to me, but I took the blanket. Yes, we'll use it. But the Lord tapped on me years later. This is years after remission, all the things. Start that nonprofit. I was fearful and I didn't do it. 2 years ago, he tapped me again. Robbin, start that nonprofit. Like, I need you to go do that. For plan. And last year, another tap. I like to call it the God two-finger tap. Two-finger tap. And so I was like, all right, we're going to go ahead because I'm not scared of much. Why are we scared to do this? And so December of last year, formed Team Robbin's Divas Cancer Foundation, which provides care packages, resources, education, because there's so much that goes along with cancer diagnosis. Even for after you're in remission at this point, there's still so much. You got a family. I did it. My son was 7 years old when I got diagnosed. So still trying to work a job, still trying to raise my son, all the things, a sense of normalcy in between it all. But I know what I'm doing is going to put a smile on we call the ladies divas, where no diva fights cancer alone, to be able to provide those things for those ladies. And so I'm excited to do just that. Just had a big kickoff here in the Dallas area on last week. Invited a lot of people. They came and we're doing a blanket drive right now, all the things and raising funds for care packages.
And speaking of your blanket drive, how can people donate?
I'll provide the Amazon list to you where they can go directly to Amazon. There's 2 options. They choose. It gets shipped to me. And then when we go and deliver the care packages that I have my vendor doing, we will have those blankets along with care packages. So we got to spoil the ladies.
I
Spoil my divas.
love it. I love it. And I will be making sure to get that Amazon link and leaving it down in the description for you guys below. I also want to stay on Team Robbins Divas. I want to ask for the women that you are serving, are they out in the community? Are they in a particular home, or where are the women you're providing for?
They're currently in treatment at like an oncology clinic. That's where we're kind of looking right now. Just oncology clinics, or if someone knows someone and they're in. Right now, we're starting kind of the Dallas Fort Worth area. It will evolve to nationwide, but right now I'm starting at home first. I said, well, it's gonna grow from there. So really looking forward to. We're still in the beginning stages, but we just raised funds to at least get the first round of care packages going. And so that's kind of where we are, our focus.
And again, I just want to thank you for your service and for thinking about this community, because there just isn't educational or any type of resources out there for women who may be battling any stage of cancer or any type of cancer out there. So
Yeah.
for your services.
You. Yeah. And just the emotional piece of it. That's a lot to take in. It's very unpredictable. You just don't know, hey, am I going to die? Just keeping it real. You just don't know. Then in between it all, you still have scans you have to do. Some people every 3 months, 6 months, I'm every year now. Every year, you know, even the unknown of that until you get cleared again. Like, okay, no signs. Like, all right, you can move on.
Mhm.
Like a sigh of relief.
And you're also providing them extra support too, along with their family. Letting them
Yeah.
know that, hey, they have support out here in the community, and that in itself I feel can let them know, hey, I can keep going and I do have somebody out here that does love me and care about me. So we once again, thank you so, so much for doing what you do. Now, how has philanthropy reshaped how you see business?
Ooh, good question. To know that we're being a blessing to others. That is not just about for what's in it for me, but how we can be of service and a blessing to others. There are people that are doing so much worse than what we could call our problem. And why not go and be a blessing to someone who has cancer? Whether it's your time, financial, etc. Why not go out and do just that? The blessings come back to you tenfold.
Yeah.
It's not always about you.
Amen. I love that. Now, I want to get some advice from my mentor herself.
Oh,
The women out here who are listening, who wants to build both profit and purpose, where should she begin?
determining what that purpose is first. What's your purpose? What's your why? If it's money hungry, it won't prosper. So it must always have a purpose behind it. Then I need you to go talk to the good old Lord and see if that is even if he's even in agreement with that. A lot of times, all we gotta do is start. He got the rest.
Amen. And now y'all see why I call her my mentor, because those two things right there is exactly what I did in order to start about her business. And I couldn't have said it any better. So thank you for sharing that with our audience. Now, we're sadly getting closer to the end of today's episode. And I want to take a look back at your journey so far. When was the moment that you realized that this was all bigger than you?
Someone told me that they started their business because of my show, or they stepped out of their shell and started networking, or public speaking, or pitch competitions from one of the most nervous people that came to my platform to go off and see her growth now. I'm so proud of this person to see her growth today. From not sounding confident about her business to us being in the room last year, and that baby had a whole microphone in her hand without shaking and was introducing her business, who she serves, and what results they could get from her brand with confidence.
Ugh, I love that.
Yeah.
And, again, because you're my mentor in my head,
I love it. I'll take it.
because you've inspired me and just watching a few of your episodes to keep going because you've been in this game for 5 years and you figured out ways to consistently just keep finding people to interview, whether it was just you getting on there yourself and just talking yourself or interviewing other people. You figured out a way to just keep going. And not only have you figured out a way to keep going in your podcast, you've also created other branches, team, Robbin's Diva Cancer Foundation. You've done so much just to make it bigger than yourself. And I'm telling you, are inspiration to me. And I am on my pain to purpose road, and I'm fighting right behind you, sister. So
Oh, thank you so much. That brightens my day to know that you even just considered me as a mentor because I'm just out here doing what I tell people that I am actually called to do. I didn't know podcasting was my calling. I had no idea. For the person who's scared to do public speaking, for that to be my calling, for podcasting to open doors, for speaking engagements, me being an MC, so on and so forth, hosting retreats. Okay, maybe. So now being a nonprofit founder, I'm like, okay, it's always the things you don't quite really see yourself doing is where the biggest blessings kind of lie. And stepping outside of your comfort zone. Say stepping out your comfort zone, the blessing is on the other side of that. So whatever that is, I do it scared every second and fourth Thursday night at 8 p.m. Because I'm like, dude, we doing this again? They like me. And getting to a space for the show, I even just talk about the show for a moment. People are being referred to me. Like, okay, you want to talk to me? Me? Little old me. Okay. And I just say little old me because I'm short. But that's it.
I did the exact same thing because when you contacted me about being on the podcast, I was like, "She want to talk to me? Really? Me?" And I'm watching her. And so again, when God taps you and tells you that He wants you to go somewhere, you have to be obedient, and He will,
Yes.
such as yourself, in my journey, so I can look up to someone and find that inspiration. So again, Miss Kilson, I do thank you for letting God use you and you staying obedient to the journey.
Yes. That's what this is all about.
Yes, ma'am. Now, sadly, we have come to the end of today's episode, but I do have one more question for you. We always leave with a legacy, and I give you a couple of seconds to think about this. When it's all said and done, how would you like people to remember you and your work?
That she had the biggest heart in the world and she wanted to see everyone win because there's room for everybody to eat, grow, and evolve. So being able not only to do the things that I've done, but to be able to take somebody alongside with you and help open doors for them as well. It's not all about you.
Oh, I love that. Sadly, you guys, we have run out of time today. But before we go, I do want to give Miss Kelton the floor to give us all of her information. Where can we find the Mamapreneur Podcast? Let us know once again how we can make donations to Team Robin Divas Cancer Foundation. Let us know all the details.
All right. How much time do you have? Okay. All the links. Just joking. Because I know she'll provide links here in a moment. So, social media, I'm everywhere, literally, for Mamapreneur Podcast. Mamapreneur podcast everywhere. YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok. Am I missing Instagram? Literally everywhere. For Team Robbins Divas Cancer Foundation, I am currently on Instagram and LinkedIn under Team Robbins Divas Cancer Foundation. There should be a link in the bio for Instagram for Team Robbins Divas. It should be a donor box link where you can sow a seed and support a diva today. And then I'll provide Jonte the Amazon wish list link if you would like to be a part of the blanket drive, which will end on April 15th. So more to come there. And yeah, mamapreneurpodcast.com. I'm everywhere. Okay. Yes.
Perfect. And I will be leaving all that information down in the description box below. Any last words before we adjourn today's meeting, Miss Kelton?
So I go by a mantra which is called do it afraid. So whatever it is you would like to do, whatever it is you're thinking about doing, whatever it is you have a passion for, do it afraid because your audience, your people, they're waiting. They waiting on you, girl. They waiting on you, sir, to get to it. So you can be an inspiration. Like John Tay just eloquently put that I am to her. You can go and be an inspiration to other people. But you gotta do it. And if you gotta do it afraid, that's okay. Be like Nike. Just do it.
I love it. And today, ladies, the meeting is now adjourned. Thanks again to Ms. Robin Kelton and Mamapreneur Podcast for coming on and sharing her insights. Be sure to subscribe to About Her Business wherever you receive your podcast so you never miss whenever we upload. Also, leave us some comments down in that description box on which industry you think we should interview next. Until next time, keep your goals tight, your circle tighter, and your bank account growing.